basketball fans, welcome back. So the 2024 BAL season, also known as BAL Season 4, will be the fourth season of the Basketball Africa League, and the season will begin tomorrow and will finish on 1st June 2024, which is marking the just right at the finals when they're starting, NBA finals, which is something that I'll also be looking at. And also the games will be held at the BK Arena for the playoffs. So the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda, this is their fourth consecutive season for hosting BAL. The first season it was there in a bubble. In the second season, third season, and this right now, the fourth season, the BAL is going to use the BK Arena in Kigali to set the stage for the playoffs and finals. So this season, the league was expanded to 48 games, and from two conferences to three conferences. South Africa will host the inaugural Kalahari Conference. Al Ahly are the defending champions, having won the previous season, and also they went to the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. So on June 19th, 2023, the Basketball Africa League and the Rwanda Development Board announced they agreed on a multi-year extension to their collaboration. Under the extension, it was agreed that the BK Arena in Kigali will host the playoffs and finals in the 2024, 2026, and 2028 seasons. So they signed a multi-year deal. I made a video covering it. And on 5th January 2024, the host venue and schedule were announced. So the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria, South Africa, will be the fourth arena to host the BAL games. And actually, the Kalahari Conference, that's the first conference to kick off. There are a couple of format changes in this season of BAL. So the BAL expanded their total games from 38 to 48. In the group phase, there will now be three conferences, as the Kalahari Conference will be held in South Africa, and it's going to be the first conference to kick off. And the number of teams in the conferences is decreased to 4, with all teams playing each other twice. So it's different from the previous season where we're seeing teams only playing 5 games, seeing each other once. So teams are gonna play to see each other twice. So the top 2 teams are, and the 2 best third place teams advance to the playoffs. Before the playoffs, the 8 teams will play seeding games to determine their opponents in the single elimination playoffs. So this was the second time the matchups in the playoffs were determined on seeding, as this was done in the inaugural season. So there's a couple of format changes. So pretty excited on that one, because it's actually quite concerning to see a team win for 4 games out of the 5 games they play, then they get knocked out in the first round, as we saw with what happened with RAG about in BAL Season 2. So the qualification of the BAL teams was no different from what we've seen in years past. So there were 6 teams that qualified directly, and there are 6 teams that made it through the rigorous and the gauntlet of road to BAL. So the directly qualified teams, the defending champions, are Al Ahly, Petro de Luanda, US Monastir, APR, AS Downers, and River Hoopers. Then in the road to BAL, that's where all the magic happened, where we had Dynamo City Oilers, and we had Dynamo City Oilers in there, and you can see APR, they're coming from East Africa. They are a direct qualification. So there are 2 teams coming from East Africa that directly qualified. Then we had Bangui Sporting Club, FUS Rabat, Al Ahly Benghazi, and Cape Town Tigers. Cape Town Tigers, they're headlining the Sahara. They're not even Sahara, but the Kalahari Conference. I don't know, I get these names messed up. But anyway, so the road to BAL began on 3rd October and ended on 26th November 2023. So on 21st September 2023, that was last year, FIBA announced the 20 teams that had registered to play in the first round, which is played in 5 groups. So the final stage of the West Division was organized in Yaoundé, Cameroon for a 3rd time, and Joburg hosted the East Division finals once again. So Chad was represented for the first time in tournament history. So Petro de Luanda were the first team to qualify, as they won the 2022-2023 Angolan Basketball League on 19th April 2023. So APR, Al Ahly Benghazi, Bangui Sporting Club, Dynamo, and FUS Rabat will make their BAL debuts. Al Ahly Benghazi, Bangui Sporting Club, Dynamo are the first teams from Libya, especially the Al Ahly Benghazi, the Central African Republic and Burundi, respectively, to play in the BAL. So you can see the road to Bali yielded some very good results. We saw how the Dynamo team hailing from Burundi were able to get to the BAL, and it was just a historic run. And they locked up the third place, and you had the City Oilers doing their thing, and they notched a ticket to the BAL. So the teams are set, and right now you're just seeing a couple of teams just, especially in the Kalahari Conference. You're just going to see the Cape Town Tigers, the FUS Rabat, Petro de Luanda, and Dynamo kick off tomorrow, and and the Kalahari Conference just looks stacked. And you might say like the home team might have an advantage in this case because they know the terrain. They've played home, and they have the ability to be able to even win at least 4 games and be able to even go unbeaten, as times that we have seen. We've seen how Tunisia get dominant. We've seen how Egypt get dominant. And the Kalahari Conference kicking off tomorrow is just something that is just going to be one epic ride. So in the preseason, for a second consecutive season, the BL champions directly qualified to the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. At the 2023 Singapore edition, Al Ahly representing the league. Al Ahly finished in the 4th place after previously beating the NBA G League Ignite to become the first African team to win a game in the competition's history. So the league hosted the third BAL combine at the IBN Yassir Omnisport Hall in Rabat, Morocco, between 5th January to 7th January. It was the first combine to be held in the African continent after the previous editions were hosted in Paris and New York. A total of 30 players participated under combine director Robert Park. So the group phase will be played between March 9th March, that is tomorrow, to 12th May 2024. The 12 teams of the group phase are divided into 3 conferences. In addition to the Sahara Conference, we have the inaugural, in addition to the Sahara Conference and our conference, the inaugural Kalahari Conference will take place. So you can see there's somewhat of some zoning. As you could see, the Nile Conference, these are teams that stretch at the River Nile. So we have the Al Ahly team hailing from Egypt. We have City Oilers and APR. Then we have Dynamo, Petro de Luanda, and Cape Town Tigers. They were slated to go into the Kalahari Conference. For some reason, you can see FUS Rabat. They are a North African team, but they are slated to play in the Kalahari Conference. They would have played in the Sahara Conference, but the Sahara Conference is stacked because we have got Al Ahly Benghazi, US Monastir, AS Downes, and River Hoopers stretching in the Sahara Conference. So that was actually a head scratcher, but out of a technicality, FUS Rabat will have to play in the inaugural Kalahari Conference, and the games are just set. So the seeding games were brought back, and the games between the 8 teams that advanced the group phase will be held on 24th May in the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. This is the first year in which seeding games are played, so we'll get to see the rankings, and this one will determine who is going to be able to notch a spot and have a direct ticket to be able to participate in the BL. So I'm just waiting to see the Kalahari Conference kick off. That features the Cape Town Tigers, FUS Rabat, Petro de Luanda, and Dynamo. Then in the Nile Conference, just like I said before, we have Al Ahly, the team coming from Egypt. That's the home team. Then we've got Al Ahly Benghazi from Libya, City Oilers from Uganda, and Bangui Sporting Club from the Central African Republic. Then in the Sahara Conference, we're going to have AS Downes hailing from Senegal, APR from Rwanda, US Monastir from Tunisia, and River Hoopers from Nigeria. So the ranking of the 3rd place team. So the Kalahari Conference third ranked team and the Nile Conference third ranked team will have to play and be able to get those 3rd place. They'll play so they can be able to get the 3rd place seeding to be able to qualify for the playoffs. So the playoffs and finals will be held on from 24th May to 1st June in the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. So this is a closer look on what we are supposed to expect, especially coming to BAL Season 4. I know in the previous videos I made a 3-part series featuring BAL Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3. That's all I got for you guys. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comment section what you think. And I'm out. Peace out.